We say what they can't radio.
What's up, world? Hope everybody's having a beautiful day. Welcome to Young, Gifted, and Black. I'm glad to be here tonight. I have some special guests. I wanted to end off this month, just representing Women's History Month and just representing women as a whole. I wanted to have some beautiful, insightful, and inspirational women on my show tonight. So I would like to introduce yourselves one by one. You go first, and you can pass it on.
Hey everybody, I'm Alicia Small. I am the CEO and founder of Dreamer Transportation Services and Keys Closet Online Boutique.
Beautiful.
Hey everyone, it's Aishara. I am one of the founders of Talk That Talk podcast.
Great podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Bebo Christian. I am the CEO of Christian & Company. I'm a life and business coach, and I am the other co-host of Talk That Talk.
Okay. I just wanted to start by saying that shout out to all my women in the world. Shout out to, my great grandmother raised me, and, she was a major part of my life. She's the reason why I know how to love unconditionally. She taught me how to garden. She taught me how to be a strong man and make sure that I had dreams and aspirations. So shout out to all the women out there that's pushing through, going through whatever adversity that they're going through. I know that, without y'all, we wouldn't be much. So we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And I think we need to show more of that type of love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So tonight, I wanted to talk about a few things. I want to have a little fun because I'm thinking when I'm looking at my questions, they're kind of serious, but at the same time, I want to have a little fun as well. So I'm going to try to mix it up. Let's talk a little bit about each other. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, what made you want to be an entrepreneur, Alicia?
Well, I was never the type that wanted to work for anyone. I wanted to do my own thing, but my purpose and my vision wasn't as developed when I started my first business. I just and I don't advise anybody to do this. I just literally up and left. I worked for the DOE, and basically what happened was my supervisor, I wanted to leave early. I had something to do. I forget what it was, and she basically said, if you don't have a note, don't come back. And it just kind of like blew my mind because I'm just like, wow, my life and my children's life are in someone else's hands. If I don't bring something like a piece of paper, I'm going to be out of a job. So I left Friday, and when I came back, I didn't come back with a note. I came back with the swipe card, and I've never been back since then. I started Dreamer Transportation Services, which is a private van transportation for children. And I just recently launched my online boutique with a line of motivational teas, which I have on today.
Okay, you moving. I love the tea.
Worry for what?
Worry for what, right?
Yeah.
And that is Keys Closet Boutique. I just feel like we as women, when we look good, we feel good. And I believe in positive affirmations. I believe in manifestation. And what better way to do it besides talking is wearing it. Absolutely. So I walk and I live in absolute faith. So that's what Worry for What comes from.
Well, Alicia, I love what you're doing. I love your message, and I want you to keep going and keep striving for greatness.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Aishara, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, what made you start Talk That Talk podcast with Chris, and what gave you that inspiration to get on camera? A lot of people can't do this.
I'm still trying to get used to it. Well, I am a mental health counselor, and I work for the city government. And the city government is cool, but it's not really my passion. So I got my master's in mental health, and I started working at a not-for-profit agency, and I counsel children and adolescents. And I actually met Chris at a after-work mixer, and me and her became cool, and I went to one of her events in the summertime, and I liked her energy, I liked her topic, and I'm like, oh my God, this is cool. So me and her started talking. I'm like, you and I should connect, and we should start something together. So she came over one day in September, and we was eating some chicken.
Okay. Some chicken.
Some fried chicken, some soul food. And I'm like, all right, girl, what we going to do? So, we started brainstorming, throwing some ideas around, and we decided to do a podcast. And we started, I'm going to say like October and November. I was like going through something really personal. And she was like, this is the best time. You got to do it now. You need to focus. let's do it. So we just started thinking of names. We came up with the name Talk That Talk, and then we did a photo shoot, and then she's like, no, we doing a launch party in January. I'm like, January, girl, that's kind of soon. And she was like, no, we doing it now. And I'm like, I don't know. I was very hesitant. She's like, nope, it's going to be good. It's going to be dope. We did the launch party, and it was great. Got a lot of great feedback, and then we just, from there, started doing the podcast every week, and a lot of people love it. They feel that it's very positive. They like the fact it's about mental health and wellness.
Absolutely.
She's a life coach, and she's really good. She helped me, and she's still helping me. So,
you getting those free services?
I'm like, she's my friend, so,
Absolutely.
call her up like, hey, girl. She's like, all right, this is what you need to do. We definitely help each other. When she go through stuff, we talk. So she's a good person, good energy, and I like working with her. And a lot of people, love coming to the show. And we did something similar to you, Women's History Month. So we honored women every week for the whole month of March. So it was cool.
Absolutely. Chris, tell me a little bit. Thank you for sharing, Ashara.
No problem.
Yes. So Ashara is like one of my best promos. Like, I should just put her on tape and just let it play.
What? No way.
Let her just go real quick.
Yes. Talk about me. But yeah, so I've been a social worker. I've been in the social work industry since I was in high school. I've been doing this like 8-9 years at this point, and I got into life coaching and motivation because I noticed while I was working in social services that I was mandated to work with these families, and these families were mandated to work with me. And they're coming into the system. So, they don't necessarily have the happiest attitude about working with me initially. But as we built rapport and we started talking, communicating, they were inspired and they were getting what they needed. But at the same time, it's how much are you going to do, being that this is a mandated service? You didn't come here of your free will, so you're not really that interested in being here. So yeah, maybe they took away 25%, 35%, and later on it'll hit them like, hey, here's the thing. But with coaching is a choice.
Absolutely.
You choose from day one, this is my commitment, this is what I want to do, this is why I'm here. So you're 100% invested in your work, in your change. So I said, let me do something different. I'll be finished with social work next week. I put in my notice, so I'll be done working with my kids. But I'll be coming back with my own program in like the next 5 years.
So you won't necessarily be finished with social work, and
for the time being.
And I can relate to you because I'm working on my master's in social work, and I'm in school right now. And sometimes I'm torn because you see the society that we're in, you see the systems, you see the bureaucracy, and you see the hypocrisy. But I gotta make a living. I need benefits. You want to be like I'm in the school system because I want to be that role model. I want young black men and women to see that you could see a young black man living out his dreams. You could see him in college. You could see him doing podcasts. It's not all about jail and negativity, But then at the same time, I'm like, how do you win these games? Because for people of color, we're forced to play games that were already built and kind of built against us, right?
Yeah.
But we continue to play it because we want to prove and we are divine and we know we can do it. But some of us can't. You know what I mean? So when are we going to create our own systems where we're coaching, or create our own agencies where instead of me being a social worker for your agency, how about I just open up a whole agency on my own?
And that's my plan.
You know what I mean?
That's
the
plan.
We shake it up a little bit. And when you talk like this, people be looking at you in class and around like, yo, you crazy. You better just get along with the system. And I'm looking at you like, nah, I'm a glitch. Like, please don't misconstrue that I'm in school, that I'm going to just go and I'm about to go get this great position and let's go work. No, we work in different ways. Let's create now.
Absolutely.
Let's create. I want to create. I want to, because it's funny though, because the name of one of my first questions is like, why is women empowerment important to you? And when I was in my first year working on my bachelor's degree, I had this long talk with my professors, and we came to a consensus that you can't empower people. People have to empower themselves.
Absolutely.
And At one point, before I got into class, because I have an associate's in human services, I'm like, nah, I'm about to get into the social work field so I can empower people, you know? And my professor was like, what? Empower? How do you empower somebody? And once I got it, I get it. I could give you all the jewels. I could give you everything that I got, but that doesn't mean you're going to take right there. So that means that I can't empower you. I can inspire you to say, you know what? I just watch this podcast and you know what? I'm about to go out. But that still takes your effort, though. So what does women empowerment mean to you? Let's start on this side and work your way.
Okay,
Chris.
so just to piggyback off what you said, so you said you can motivate people. You could have them tell them, hey, go check out this podcast. What I do as a coach is I bring up curiosity. I'm sharing reflections with you of your life. So I'm not going to walk you to the river. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to reflect back like, hey, you said you wanted this thing, but it's been like 3 months. We're still sitting here.
That's a fact. Reflection.
I'm offering you reflections, and we're having curious conversations. We're having questions on and off, and we're just looking at your life. And then you get to say, hey, I want to stay here. I like to suffer. This is what I want to do. I'm comfortable suffering, so I'm going to stay suffering. Or you get to say, okay, I want something different, so let's make it happen.
To add to that, I would say that everybody's logic is different because we're living in like the Matrix. So I invited you on this show because I feel like we're all in the same frequency. Whether I know a lot about y'all personal lives, I feel like from what I got when we was together is enough for me to want to be around y'all and build with y'all because that's what it's all about. But I feel like sometimes people's perception could only go as far as what they can see. And if you're dealing in a society that built structures to confuse you, to make you not remember who you are, and then to build all of these blocks so that you don't get to where you're supposed to get, sometimes our logic is not their logic. Right. Like, see, so if I'm talking to you, Chris, or if I'm talking to you, Ashara, or I'm talking to you, Alicia, y'all logic is my logic. My logic is y'all logic. Whether we always agree or disagree, we're on the same frequency. But if you throw 3 other people in here with all these different experiences, that's not where we're at. They might be looking at some of the stuff we saying like foreign. Like, what is he talking about?
But you're supposed to rebuild the mindset. It's all about rebuilding. You got to break down all of the conceptions, the stories that you've already created from the past that disempower you. You have to break all of those walls down and rebuild. Yeah. So we could rebuild them. It's going to take some time.
I agree.
But that's also why women's empowerment is so important for me as well, because with women's empowerment, it's identifying that, hey, you don't have to be a stereotype. You don't have to be one of those statistics. You don't have to just cook. If you feel like cooking, you cook. If your husband want to cook, he could cook. He could go bake some cookies and we could go get the money. You get to choose. And it's about actually identifying that there's a choice. There's an option.
Agreed.
Period.
What about you, Shara? What's your perspective on women empowerment? Why is that important to you?
Women empowerment is very important to me because I was raised by, my dad passed away when I was 3 years old. So I was raised by my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, and my great aunt. And just seeing them going to work every day and just building. My grandmother, she did everything herself. And she always told me, you know, it's great to have a man, but you need to know how to stand on your own 2 feet because God forbid this man is taken away from you. You as a woman need to learn how to be able to hold your own. And when I see, when I graduated college, I got a regular 9 to 5. But I see right now, the younger generation and even my generation, so many women becoming entrepreneurs, building, making a brand themselves. For years, women were never considered equal. Everyone got less pay. They weren't respected. So just seeing women kind of dominating the workforce, entrepreneurship, that's inspiring. And that's a fact. It's letting little girls know that you matter. Mm-hmm. You're not just the side piece of a guy. You stand in the front too. You guys are on the same stage. Now, you're not in the audience. He's not up there. You guys are the same. So it's very important to me. And like I said, I'm glad that I met Chris because just seeing her program that she had in the summertime was very inspiring. And I'm like, wow, this girl, she's younger than me. I'm like, she's doing her thing. And, it just made me want to be great too. Like, well, why can't I be great? I was in a relationship watching someone else build themselves up, and I was just like kind of on the sideline watching. I'm like, no, your grandmother told you can stand on the same stage. This young girl's doing her thing. She's creating a brand for herself. You can do the same thing too.
Absolutely. Um, I thank you for sharing, Ashara. I'm sitting here just thinking about the importance of women empowerment for me. And my great grandmother came here in 1950, where like we didn't even have all of our rights yet, and she found a way to like get 2 restaurants, 2 houses, create opportunities for our family, show us the little things, but also show us the grind. And when she passed away, it affected me so much, but when I think about all the stuff that she instilled in me, that's why I hold bags for women. That's why I get up out my seat. That's why I say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And that's why I have that different, attitude when it comes to certain things, because I know she's watching. And that's why I'm very respectful of women. I have I'm not perfect. We make mistakes, and I could be better as an individual. We all can, but I make sure it's intentional to be respectful, to show that I know that I don't look at women. I honestly believe women are maybe a little stronger than us, because without them we wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about what we can lift. Like, yeah, I might could lift more than you, but if you couldn't push me out, I wouldn't be here, right? So like, how strong am I? You know what I mean? So I value that. And they always say, like, you could tell the way a culture is, or you could tell, how does the saying go? Basically, you could tell the culture based off how they treat their men. You know what I'm saying? Or like different demographics. And in our society, we are kind of disrespectful. We're not as respectful. We're not as foregoing to admit the woman is as strong as us and can do as what we can do, because we have all of these different stereotypes. But at the end of the day, imagine how powerful we would be if we all worked together. You know what I'm saying? If we all valued each other. So, what about you? Why is women empowerment important to you?
Women empowerment is important to me. I came from a background to where I lived in a household where there was domestic violence, and I was very young experiencing this, seeing this, and what always went through my head was like, I want to help her. I want to help my mom. Why is anyone helping her? And when I went through my transition to get to where I was today, my thing was starting with me. I'm very big on personal development. I think that I had to fix myself first in order to give that to other women, right? Because we're all looking for love, right? That's where it starts. And, unfortunately, in our community, a lot of times there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of competition, and why can't I go up to these 2 ladies and say, hey, you're beautiful, or, hey, I can learn something from you, or, hey, can we work together? A lot of the times it's like, no, I don't want to give you this information, or, no, even if we're not even in the same field, it's like, I don't even do the same thing that you do. We don't even have the same fan base, so why can't we come together? We're more powerful together. Why can't we come together and create these opportunities for each other?
Absolutely.
For me, as my vision became more clear and I started to live in my purpose, it wasn't just about me and my family and, giving my children options. It was about coming together with people, like you said, on the same frequency as me, and even not on the same frequency, getting out there, helping the people and creating these opportunities. You have so many talented women that just don't have the resources. And if I have it, why am I keeping it to myself? I'm going to win regardless, right? So I want to put myself in a position to where I can help you as well. I want to see everybody win. And that's the thing, like, we're so divided and we're so separated, and this is why we can't create seats at the table, because we can't, it's so many things dividing us. So that's, what women empowerment means to me, being able to collaborate with you and be as transparent as possible, live my truth so that you can see, I was here, but now I'm here, and, I love you. I think you're beautiful, and give these compliments, because you have a lot of beautiful women. As myself, I had confidence issues. I battled with emotional eating and things of that nature, and I wish somebody would have came up to me and said, as beautiful as I am, I didn't think that. And for me to be able to hear that from another woman would have meant the world to me, because I didn't hear it. And there's so many women walking out here, it's so many women walking out here that don't hear it.
I agree.
What I'm taking from what you're saying right now is it's making me think about how do we change the narrative, right? Because as a black man looking at black women, right, I think that they're the most beautiful women in the world. I think that they're like the only race that could create every ethnicity or demographic you could think of, right? You know, the melanin and the beauty, and you know, when you talk about oppression and obstruction and inequality, like they suffer from that. You know what I'm saying? They have been fighting that through time, through religion, through government, through everything. You know what I'm saying? Just to be equal. And it makes me think, right, in this day and age, like, you know, social media influences how women view themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And how do we change the narrative to remind them that it's not about your bra size or how big your butt is or how beautiful somebody else deems you. It's about self-love. It's about loving yourself unconditionally and accepting what God gave you. Like, I have spots on my face because I have skin lupus. You know what I'm saying? Like, so before they caught it, like, it stayed, and the doctor told me I could get laser surgery and all this other stuff, and I was like, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it is. I don't do tattoos, so this is my art. You know, and that's what I accepted. You know what I mean? Like, and I see now, based on social media and low self-esteem, a lot of women are trying to live up to expectations that they shouldn't have to live up to. Because if you're a woman of color, you're divine, you're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not seeing it enough, like, we need to fix that. We need to fix the narrative. Like, I'm all for the Cardi B's. I'm all for, you know, different perspectives of culture. But let's show the Maya Angelos more. Let's show the narratives of women that, you know, are not just fighting and not just screaming and not just yelling. Because, you know, women of color help this culture, this country, you know, like, progress. You know what I'm saying? Like, so why is it that I understand we like watching Love and Hip Hop, and we like watching these, I'm not gonna say negative, but I'm gonna say these altered perceptions of our people. Because if you're a white person in the sticks and you never been around people of color, and just so often your daughter was watching, you know, Love and Hip Hop, your perception of people of color might be a little jaded.
Right.
You know?
And
Very
you
true.
know, like I said, it has to be, we have to have more dialogue and women being transparent and saying it's okay. A lot of the times, you know, on social media, you see the glam and the glitz, but you don't know what this woman is going through. You don't know her insecurities. You don't know that she has confidence issues. And I'm not saying that I'm against getting your body done. I'm against getting your body done if it's not going to make you happy, because usually you're getting it so you could look a certain way. I just did Instagram Live, and I was really transparent about my emotional eating, and one of the things that I had to do was get out of my head that I'm losing weight to look a certain way. No, I'm losing weight to be healthy. It's unhealthy. We got to change the way we're thinking. You understand? And,
absolutely.
And once I did that, I decided that I want to live a healthy lifestyle, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You know, there's prerequisites before. It's like when you go into the doctor and they say, oh, you're obese. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's clear. We know that. But why? People don't want to deal with the why.
Exactly.
I want y'all to get into this a little bit, but you know, I used to think I was ugly, right, when I was younger, because I used to base the perception, I used to base the idea whether I'm handsome or ugly based on what other people thought, right?
Me too.
So if I asked a girl and I was like, yo, here's my paper, you want to be my girlfriend? And she said no, or she was like, no, you ugly. I'm like, oh my God, right? But as you get older and you listen to grandma and you listen to the people around you, you like, you know what? When you look yourself in the mirror, like, yo, I'm handsome, yo. Like, you a smooth brother. Like, you start getting that self-love, and then you start noticing when you carry that outside, you might come across a young lady that be like, yo, you a handsome brother. You be like, oh, but that's how you got to carry yourself.
Yeah.
And I think where we go wrong at men and women, if you're getting dressed, if you're getting your body done, if you're doing anything for other people to see, then it's all off. It's always gonna be wrong. Now, if it's for you, if it's for that self-love, if it's for like, I feel like it's gonna make me feel better, or I feel like it's gonna benefit me, then that's for you. But if you're getting dressed or you're doing these things for attention, then you have to look in the mirror and make that readjustment. And there's nothing wrong with that because we all have that situation. What do y'all think about changing the narrative? Because y'all kind of quiet over there. Like,
well,
No,
we were letting y'all
I
go.
was letting you go. But for me, like, I
that's
could.
a social worker, y'all.
No,
I also wanted to say, not to cut you off, but I was laughing when y'all was talking because I need my best friend in here. When I start talking, they like, she was like, hold on. And then she did the same, Chris did the same thing. So I love the way y'all work together. And it's good to see the sisterhood that y'all got going on. Appreciate
Of course, because you don't see it. Like, it's like she said, when you see black women, it's like they're always in competition with each other, like crabs in the barrel.
That's a
and
fact.
it doesn't need to be like that. I could have been to like, well, who she thinks she is? She gonna have an event? I'm not going. I'm not supporting. But it's like, why not? But as far as like the whole look thing goes, I used to love to dress up when I was in high school. I was obsessed with the Spice Girls, so they put me on to wearing heels.
Okay.
And I was like the only girl in high school wearing heels. And everybody used to be like, oh, she thinks she all that. She wearing heels. She don't wear sneakers. She don't wear Timbs. And I personally liked it for myself. It was for no one else. Then I got in a relationship with someone, and they used to make me feel bad. Like, oh, why you doing that? You're doing too much. And so I kind of toned it down a little bit. But now that I'm single, I wear my heels every day. Go to the corner store with my heels, feeling good. And I think that you have to do things to make yourself happy. You know, as far as Instagram, I'm going to say probably like 80% of the people do things just for likes and followers. And it's cool, I guess. But I personally, what you see is what you get. And I think that you have to learn to love yourself. You have to learn to accept yourself. And you have to also learn that everyone's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to be here for you. And you have to be okay with that. So that's changing the narrative and just being confident in yourself. And that's a hard thing to do because in this world that we live in, social media makes it very hard for you to be confident. And it's sad that this tool that can be great for business can also be like the most devastating thing, causing suicide, causing self-esteem issues. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if you have support and you really sit there and maybe take a little time away from social media, get to know yourself again, I think that can help change the narrative. And just seeing the cohesiveness with other people. Like if we all three of us collab, now they're seeing, that not two girls, but three black girls are collabing, or three women, shall I say. Because it's not just about, race, it's about women in general, just coming together. And I feel like doing more events. They had something on the news like 2 weeks ago when I was getting a pedicure. I was watching the news and I'm like, they had something for kids. I think it was in Harlem for them about their hair, learning how to appreciate black hair. You know, they're used to thinking that you have to get a relaxer, your hair has to be bone straight to be deemed as beautiful hair. Our hair is the most unique hair in the world. Yes. We can hold a curl, we can do a cornrow, we don't got to add weave, our braid's going to stay. We have beautiful hair. And I used to think that my hair had to be straightened all the time for me to be beautiful. And then one day, it got wet. I was like, it's kind of cute. Put a little conditioner in it. Got a little bounce. And I'm like, okay, this is not bad. And I started to embrace it. And you just see so many black women now embracing their curl pattern. And that's important. Just embracing your natural beauty. Like, we can be beautiful with makeup, weave, wigs, whatever. But you're beautiful regardless. If this stuff was to disappear, God forbid they said, we're going to do a week of natural. I just want to see what a lot of women would do without the makeup and the weaves and the wigs and everything. Like, embrace your natural beauty because that's who you are. When you put the water on your face and everything dries out, this is who you are. Embrace it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm feeling this. I'm really feeling this energy. Chris, let's add a little bit to that. Like, what's your perspective on changing the narrative? Because just thinking, you remember the 90s?
Yes.
Like you remember
the best time in the world.
You remember In Living Color. You remember Martin, The Fresh Prince. You remember
Cosby.
The Cosby shows. You remember how our culture was represented?
Positive.
Like, it was such in a positive light. Like, true. It was so beautiful to me. Like, turning the TV screen on. Don't get me wrong. In that small pocket, outside of that, I always was like looking for black people in movies, like ain't enough black people. Like every TV show, and now we have a lot of people of color, like in the movie screens and TV shows. But what type of narrative are they giving off? Mm-hmm. Like, are they representing us in the greatest light, like Boomerang maybe, or like a Blackish? Because I love Boomerang right now.
I love Boomerang.
It might not be the most perfect
the
show,
movie?
But
No. There's a new show.
The TV show. It's a TV show out right now, and it's just like it shows us like in the light of leadership and wanting to shake it up. Like, we tired of just listening, because I think that's a problem for us. But getting back to that, like, how do we change the narrative?
Absolutely. So this past week, I personally posted a picture of myself on Instagram, and I talked about my growth and who I am, my confidence and my comfort in who I am now. And I talked about growing up, how I used to get called ugly. And at one point I wanted lip reduction, because I used to get on the train and all the time people would be like, lips, is that you? Lips.
Not lips.
Yes, lips all day. So at one point I was like, I'm not comfortable with these big lips. These things gotta go. So I would walk around with my lips stuck in and my head hunched down for many, many years. And I did a ton of work on self-confidence. And even now, all I get is, oh, you're beautiful. Oh, you're sexy. Yeah, I did a lot of work to get here. I did a lot of work for me to hear you tell me I'm sexy and me to accept it.
Absolutely.
So that work came as a leader, working on my certification, working on my confidence as a life coach. I did a lot of breaking down of my own barriers, because the Instagram models, all of that stuff is all about how you feel about yourself. It's all about your confidence in who you think you are. That's what makes you go looking outside to find out who you're supposed to be. And unfortunately, it changes with every story, every new model, every new TV show. Your perspective changes unless you're really, really strong about who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even the music videos change. I remember back in the 90s, you would always see like a black woman as a leading lady.
Yeah.
Now I see videos and I don't even see a brown girl in the video. Yeah. I see every other ethnicity and race but black women. And it's sad, because I feel like black women, we're very talented. We dance, beautiful, different shapes. We have natural shapes. It's kind of like a lot of other ethnicities are trying to mimic it.
Well, so just not to cut you off, but that's not even other women who are doing that. That's men.
Yeah.
Because you can talk to, like, I have tons of white friends who'll be like, you're so beautiful. I love your lips. I love your face. I love you. I love black women. There are so many, like, white women, Asian women who, like, embrace you for you before your own culture will.
A lot of black men,
and black women.
From my experience, I do see a lot of black men not embracing black women, basically glorifying other races. Like, I don't date black women, I only date mixed women, or I only date white women, or I only date this type of women. And I used to get upset at that, because I'm like, is your mother black? Like, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. And that used to bother me a lot. But
it's not about the women, it's about the man.
Yeah, it's about the
so just to add to that, I would say that I think that it is very important to understand the beauty in your culture and in your race. You know what I'm saying? So not that I have dated outside my race, but at the same time,
and if you have, that's fine.
I'm with a woman of color. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I want it to be like that. You know what I mean? Because it's just, you can't go wrong with too much melanin. You know what I mean?
We're not shaming. We're not looking to shame interracial relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You love who you love. For me,
for the good reason.
I think that when I hear a black man say, I don't date black women, that's like, if you're a black man and you're dating a white woman, that's fine. But when you say, I don't date black women because X, Y, and Z, I'm just like, you're gonna shame a whole race. This is your race. This is your culture. I think
that in context, because it's gonna go into the next question. But for any man that would make that type of statement, I think that he is he's like in slumber, like Sleeping Beauty, like he's sleeping. And I think that a lot of our people, not just in that context, but you gotta think about it, right? Like, go back in history. Look at the 60s. Look at the civil rights movement. Look at the wave we was on, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta look at it, right? They was like, wait a minute. The system that probably was like, if women of color, if men of color, if they continue to go like this, like we're doomed. Like the system is doomed. So we gotta shake it up. We gotta break the structure up. You know what I'm saying? We gotta mind wash them. We gotta brainwash them. Excuse me. And now you have all these predicaments or situations of self-hate and men making statements like that, or not just black men saying that they don't want to be with black women or women of color. You have them not loving themselves, or them killing themselves, or them not understanding who they are. But this is by design.
Even like slavery. Remember, they had the brown paper bag test. If you were darker than the brown paper bag, then you were in the field. The females were in the field. If you were lighter, you were in the house.
Absolutely.
And that made the dark skinned women not like the lighter skinned women.
Right.
And then you remember, what was that movie, School Days, or the Spike Lee movie?
I think it was.
Where the light skinned girls versus the dark skinned girls.
And it's funny that we started talking about this because I had this conversation with my husband, but it was on the context of the girl you bring home, right? And we were talking about the Instagram model. So I asked him, and he was kind of like stuck. I said, so the thing is, and again, I'm not against surgery and anything you want that you feel like is going to make you beautiful, but why is it a lot of the times this is what you guys glorify, even though you know that, I think we use like a stripper or something like that, even though you know that, no, I'm not bringing a stripper home to my mom. No, I'm not bringing this type of girl home to my mom, but you will make a regular woman like me feel like, well, no, you have to get your waist taken in. You got to get the fat sucked out. Why do you do that? Why is the normal woman not glorified as much as the woman who got surgery?
Because on both sides it's about self-love, and that's the next question, right? Mm-hmm. Is how can we teach more young women and young men about self-love, right? And I think that in context, right, you got to think about it. We're in a country that the first real profit, the first wealth in this country came off people of color, right? So, not saying that this country is not a place that we can't benefit and thrive in, but we also got to take into account that it's a place that has gave a lot of negativity for people of color, right? And in context, not just, you got the Gucci brands now, you got the Monclers, everybody talking about blackface and how they represent us, but that's in context how we were represented. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And one of those things was hating each other. One of those things was thinking that, I think what we went wrong at through, the civil rights movement was in trying to get equal rights. We adapted into a culture instead of making sure that we built our own culture. So when things went wrong, like Rodney King, instead of us putting a plan together, we rioted and burned down the whole block of all the mom and pop stores. And guess what came after that? The malls, the major corporations, the Walmarts, the Kmarts. So there was no more mom and pop, right? So now we look at gentrification, same problem, right? So my thing is that it all falls back into us not loving ourselves. And when you don't love yourself, you could litter in your community. You could have a drink and throw the cup on the floor. Mm-hmm. You could beat up a woman. You could beat up yourself. You could not eat healthy. You could not be respectful of people because you have been taught that you are not enough. You know what I mean, right? So we think that because we live in a poverty-stricken environment that we're actually in poverty. But I remember in the 90s, we're going to keep going back to the 90s, you would go in certain people's house and forget where you was at. Mm-hmm. You remember that? You could be in the hood, they could be shooting outside. Like, oh my God, they shooting. You get in the house, it smell like fried chicken. The music is playing, Al Green playing. You like, oh, turn that up, girl. Like, turn that up. Next thing you know, everybody playing spades, fish fries. Yep. For that moment, when you around those people, you don't know about outside. Right. See, we came up in that era that, we grew up in poverty. But our family gave us the morals and the understanding that we was great and that we was divine and we had wealth inside. Yes. And I think that now, because of social media, like you said, Ashara, like, we think that you gotta have the car. Oh, because I went on Instagram and my homeboy got the 750 and he got all the jewels, but you don't even know that's his. Exactly. It's all illusion based. So like you said, you best use social media for business. and to see how your friends that you ain't seen in 15 years is doing. Because if you basing it off reality, that's you're gonna be. You might as well, go play in the street because you're not gonna always get the reality from that.
Right.
So how do we get back to self-love?
Being honest,
Loving ourselves, not just for women, but for matter of fact, let's keep it on women. How do women get back to self-love?
I think by being transparent. I have a daughter. She's going to be 6 in April. And it's very important for me to...
Shout out to the young princess.
Because I'm giving this person back out to the world. I broke the cycle. You understand? And it's important for me to say affirmations with her when she gets up in the morning. Say it.
That made me want to do the Wakanda forever.
Yeah, no, I told her.
Let's take it back.
We had a situation in school to where she came out crying yesterday, and it was because she didn't get a golden ticket because I didn't complete the school survey. So I went to the principal and I let him know my daughter in kindergarten is reading above grade level. She's performing mathematics above grade level. She's one of the most well-behaved children in this class. And for you not to recognize her academic excellence, but divide them because of something that an adult didn't do, I didn't like that. And today, she didn't get a golden ticket because I didn't do the survey. Sorry about that. And she didn't get to wear her clothes. And I pumped her up and I reassured her, listen, that you not getting a ticket doesn't matter. When I pick you up today, you pick out what you want to wear. You pick out your unicorn, because I always tell her she's a black unicorn.
Absolutely.
And you pick out your stuff and we going for ice cream. Like, you have to build them up. I try to take her everywhere I go to show her about unity and what I'm doing, and letting her know that you are capable of anything. And I have dialogue with my children. My oldest son is going to be 13 in May, and I let him know where I came from. I was in just changing the narrative, and I apologize to my children because I wasn't on the straight and narrow. I'm very transparent about that. I wasn't on the straight and narrow. There was some, generational curses that I was about to continue until I checked myself. And he was my firstborn. I had him at 21, and I let him know, some of the decisions that I made, unfortunately, affected you.
Absolutely.
And I apologize from that. But this is how you can go from here to here, and it's okay. It's just about being transparent. I let everybody that's following me know, like, usually, you see the glitz and glam of entrepreneur. You just get up and it's okay, and you get your makeup. No. They ask me all the time, when do you ever have a chance, you ever feel like you want to break down? Yeah, last night. I got 3 kids. My husband is incarcerated. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm responsible for all of these people. And yes, I go to therapy every Monday. Yes, I have a spiritual coach. Yes, I invest in my personal development, because when those times come, that's what I have to lean on, who I am as a person. But, talking about my emotional eating, talking about my mom and, my dad and, the background I've had, talking about how I felt about myself, being real and opening up the dialogue and saying, yes, it's okay. You're worthy no matter what. No matter the mistakes, no matter the trauma, no matter what, you're worthy of living the life that you were supposed to live. You're worthy of being great. So I think it's just about being transparent. Again, changing the narrative, letting them know, like, success looks like me, success looks like her, success looks like you, success looks like her. It's not just one thing.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
I agree.
And I really appreciate you sharing your story, and you continue pushing, and everything is going to work out in your favor. That's the energy I get from you. Tell me a little bit, Ashara, about why you think self-love is important.
I think when you're honest with yourself, that's what people can appreciate. And just to piggyback off of what you said, everyone on social media puts on this perception like they have the best life. And there was a picture, I wish I could pull it up. It's like a little cartoon. And so on one side, it shows a beautiful woman taking a selfie. But then on the other side, it's like a black and white. And the selfie is just her looking beautiful, and the background is gorgeous. And the next picture, the background looks horrible. She looks like hell, bags under her eyes, but it's like she's putting on this perception. So when you're honest and you're telling your truth, like you can make a video like, oh, I had a bad day today. You know, my boss pissed me off, this, that, and the third, or I didn't get the account that I wanted. Just showing the good and the bad, I think that will help. Instead of just always showing one-sided. Being honest, being transparent, and just building yourself up. And telling someone else, you know, before, I'm not going to lie, I'm from Albany, so I was very friendly. Then when I moved down here, people were really mean, especially on the subway. So I just kind of adapted to the New York mentality, like, you know, just keep to yourself, don't say anything. And I'm like, you know what? No. I seen a young lady, she looked beautiful. And I said, you look fly. I like your shoes. Telling another person, whether it's a woman or a man, that they look nice, saying hello when you are getting eye contact from someone, that's important. Just the little things can build someone up. You never know. Like one day I was walking and the lady was like, you look so beautiful, miss. And that just made me smile and made my morning. So just the little things like that can help build someone up, and just being your true self and not being what you think other people want you to be. Because there's a lot of people that don't know who the hell they are. They're grown-ass people and they walking around conforming to whoever they're around. And it's like, do you know who you are?
Right. I agree.
Absolutely.
Well, how do you feel about that, Chris, about self-love? And thank you for sharing, Shara.
No problem.
So for me, what I really tell my clients a lot of the time is two things. So acknowledging the road taken, like acknowledging all of the small things you've done, the amazing things you've done along the way, because we always look at all the things that we don't like about ourselves. We look at all of the things that we see and we want to pick at, but we never really stop and take a moment to be like, hey, I love the way my toes curl. I love the way I smell in the morning. I love these things about myself. So actually stopping and looking at 10 things you love about yourself. And you can't say that you don't have them. It's just that you never took a chance to look.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's one. And then, yes, acknowledging the road taken, giving yourself a reward, and acknowledging all that good, luscious stuff about yourself. That those are the pillars to building up you. And confidence is just a result of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I want to, the last question of the night, and thank you for sharing, Chris, because it comes into full circle of everything that we talking about tonight is healing. It's healing as a people, because I don't think that people of color have had that opportunity. And it's healing. I know a lot of women that are pushing through adversity, through broken relationships, and not being able to take care of their families the way they want to take care of their families. And I would say that as human beings, you know, no matter, adversity was never meant to hinder you. So if you're being stopped because of that adversity, I want you to understand that it's you stopping you. It's not the adversity. So no matter what you go through, the goal is for you to grow through that. But understand that for us to grow through that, it has to go through you. And I think sometimes we hold it. Yeah. So it's like we go through a breakup. We go through something that, you know, we didn't like, or that didn't, you know, it just wasn't what we wanted. And instead of us releasing it and letting us go through it and getting over it and growing through that, we hold it. Yeah. And that's where dis-ease comes from. The dis-ease of you not letting it flow. Because everything is about flow, right? Yeah. So I think the main perspective in healing is letting it flow, right? Like my mother wasn't able to raise me. My father wasn't able to raise me. My grandparents raised me, and they passed away early. And then once they passed away, it was like my veil was taken away. And I was looking at life like, why did they do this? Why didn't they do this? And I had to learn to heal through that. I've been going to therapy since I was like 5-6 years old, right? So thank God for my grandma's putting me into that, because it taught me how to think through things. But what I realized is that when I had that perspective of why my moms didn't do that, why my father didn't do that, it hindered me because I wasn't taking accountability of what I was doing. Right. I was using excuses. So once I started to take accountability, it was like, yo, you know what? They helped me grow through that. And I don't call bad days anymore. I call them learning days. Yeah. So once I was able to heal through that, I started to grow. And as I started to grow, I started to understand that everything happens for a reason, right? So, Ashara, what's your take on women and people in general? How can we heal?
Well, accepting the fact that there is an issue and that you need to basically go and get help for it. Like some people are against counseling, some people are against coaching. They feel like, oh, it's nothing wrong, I'll just deal with it. But understanding that, okay, there are outside sources that can help me, and just sharing the knowledge and letting people know your truth. You know, I was going through something and I went to counseling for it, and then being that I went to school for mental health counseling, I had to know what it was like to sit on the other side of the couch. What was it like? Okay, you're not perfect. You're helping other people, but you also have issues too. Sometimes, as you know, with social work and mental health, you take on other people's problems.
Oh yes.
So you come home and you're thinking about your client, and you have, you're starting to embody their issues. So I would say accepting the fact that you have an issue, learning other support systems.
I just want to add to that, Ashara. It's very important that we understand that we identify our problems, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's also valid that we understand that we have to work through that, because sometimes we think that we could just keep sweeping stuff under the rug. We have to heal, as you just said. Like, we have to, once you identify it, you have to find a way to rectify it. If not, it will blow up. Like, you want to be in front of the ball or behind. What is it? You want to be behind the ball, not in front of it. How does it go? Whatever.
Well, so just to piggyback off what you said, some people actually choose to identify it and just hold on to it. Mm-hmm. It's comfortable. It's comfortable just sitting in that. Sitting in your suffering is so comfortable, especially because you get to be the victim.
Yep,
you get to play the victim card.
But that victim seat it leads straight to doom. And I'm not gonna lie, I've heard a lot of stories from men and women throughout my life, and every time you try to get somebody to revert from being a victim, they feel like you taking away from what they went through.
Because you can't make them revert. That's a choice.
But to be the victim is to give away your accountability.
It's giving away your power.
Yes.
Don't ever give away your power.
But you can say don't ever give away your power, but that doesn't mean people ain't gonna do it.
They just
won't tell you about it.
People don't like to be uncomfortable. Being a victim, if that's what you've been doing all your life, that's comfortable. So for you to be at another level, you have to get uncomfortable. To be comfortable.
Say that again.
You have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. And once you get comfortable again, you got to get uncomfortable. That's how you have to move up. CEOs. Yes. You have to be willing to say, you know what? Okay, I've been working this 9 to 5 for 10 years. I'm making the same money. This is what's going on. But you know what? I want to get to the next level. So you have to be a risk taker, right?
And your comfort zone got to keep on expanding.
Yeah, your comfort zone. So it's like, okay, for this podcast stuff that I was doing, I never thought in my million years. I'm like, no, I'm shy. I don't want to do this. We did a launch party. I'm like, I can't talk. Then she's like, girl, you were great. You did this in another lifetime. And I had to get uncomfortable. And I'm sure she's going to push me to do something else. So I'm going to be like, oh my God, I can't do this. But willing to understand that the victim is cool for a while. Mm-hmm. You get like a little, window to feel sorry for yourself, right? When you're going through something, a breakup, a death, you have a period. But now, okay, the period is over. What are we doing? What's the end game? That's my question to everybody. What is the end game?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that you have to look at it like this. When adversity hits, you have to just be ready to understand that when the universe knocks you off your feet, it's just teaching you a lesson. You know, we take things so personally sometimes, like, yo, this happened to me and God just doesn't want me to succeed. But no, maybe it's not your time yet. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you're not ready yet.
You needed that lesson.
You needed that lesson for you to get to the next step. And that's kind of how I see all my transgressions in life and all my bad days. It's like when I think about it at 33 now, it's like it was preparing me to get here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Or what were you telling yourself? Because as I got deeper into my personal development and my spirituality, is like, you know, the universe, it works at record speed, and whatever you put out there, it's going to bring back to you. And if you kind of think about it, like, if something happened, it's like, Damn,
I'm glad you said
say,
that.
I did say that I wish this would go away, and it went away.
I
It definitely went away. So we got
universe.
accountability. We got what are we telling ourselves? What are we,
speaking your truth.
Speaking your truth, let me tell you, the universe. I used to think people, like older people, when they said that, what goes around comes around. Your old uncles and your aunties say that. I'm like, But I kid you not. The earth is all about vibration. If you do a positive vibration, what goes up is going to come back down. And anything that comes down comes hard on you. So when you do positive stuff, it's going to come back at you. When you do bad stuff, believe me, it's going to go back into the universe. It's going to come and hit you so hard. And you're going to be like, wow. So I'm very big on vibration, accountability, trying to be a better person. I'm not perfect. Yeah, I'm not perfect. And I'm going to stumble along the way. And that's okay. But you just got to know, all right, this wasn't a good choice. Let's try not to do this choice again.
Absolutely. All right, so we got a couple minutes. Real quick, everybody give me one woman that you think about, the strongest woman of your life.
My grandmother. My grandmother passed away.
What's her name?
Marie Hunter.
Shout out to Marie Hunter.
Yeah, she passed away. She actually lived right up the block. She passed away at 89 and 2012.
Good life.
Yeah, she lived. Her twin is actually still living, which is kind of scary for me. But she was one of the strongest women. She was born in the 20s, so she was from Portsmouth, Virginia. So she was from the South, and she was one of the strongest women, most beautiful, humblest women that I've ever met. I've never heard her talk bad about someone. I've never seen her get upset. She was one of the wisest women I've ever seen. She came from that time. She only had a 7th grade education, but she dropped some gems. She was one of the wisest women I know. I miss her. I love her. And I know she's with me, and I hope she's proud.
I'm sure she is.
Absolutely.
So it's very hard for me. Like I said, I grew up with 4 women, but my grandmother.
Okay.
Barbara Ann Dabney, and she passed away.
Shout out to Barbara.
Yeah, she passed away in 2012. She was young. She was 61. Okay. She died of cancer. But my grandmother, let me tell you, yes, F cancer. She was the sweetest person I've ever met in my life. And when I mean I felt loved, and to lose that love, of course, my mother and my aunt and my great aunt loved me, but the love my grandmother had was just it's the love that you read about in books or you see in a movie. That can't be real. She was so positive and she was strong. She got married twice, got divorced twice, and everything she had. She got a beautiful big house, swimming pool, everything herself. And she always Pumpkin, you're beautiful. You're going to be the best person in the world. Don't ever let a person or a man tell you that you can't do anything. And she was so positive. You meet her, you fell in love. All my friends, you need anything? She'll give you the shirt off of her back. Just a sweet lady. And she didn't go to college. I think she dropped out of school when she was, because she had my mom when she was 15, and then she had my aunt when she was 16. So she started working in a mailroom at, it used to be called Bell Atlantic South, as we know, Verizon. And she moved up the corporate ladder as a tech.
Okay.
So she made great money, and she just was so positive. And there's not a day in this life that I don't think about her. I have pictures all over her, and when I go through stuff, I talk to her picture. When I go to Albany, I visit her gravesite. I miss that lady, and my mom and everyone else.
Absolutely, God bless her soul, and thank you for sharing, Chris. What's your perspective?
I'd have to say.
What's your person? Excuse me.
I'd have to say my mama KJE. Can you hear me?
Shout out to Mama KJ.
Yes, Mama Kathy. So my mom was the neighborhood mom. She wasn't just my mom. She was everybody's mom. You know that lady?
Yes.
Yes, the lady you call and you need to just come somewhere.
Sugar.
She had a restaurant right there on Fulton Street. And when I tell you, I had Bloods and Crips for brothers because they would just all be there supporting me and my mama. They would take all the food out the car. No, they weren't gangsters when they came in the restaurant. These are her children. When I'm out hanging out the mall or doing something anywhere, they're somewhere around and they're watching out for me. Always watching out for me. But my mom, most hardworking lady I've ever seen. Whenever I feel like being lazy, and whenever I'm not getting something done or something's not working my way in the moment, my mom's still going. And she's 4'11" because she shrunk. She's in her 60s. She shrunk a lot. But don't tell her I told you. I know she's gonna hear this anyway. But anywho, so she's hardest working, hustling, brains, beauty, confidence. All my mom. She's really, really cool. If she was in here, she'd probably be singing right now because she can sing, do dance, everything. But
sounds like an
isn't it funny? Like the strongest women are the most littlest women. Because my grandmother probably was like 4'11", and I'm just like all this strength in this little structure.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised how much could come in a small individual. I mean, my grandmother wasn't the biggest person, but my woman would have to be anime wise. You know, she was a entity where like. If we were getting evicted and we needed $3,000, we could go to grandma. Or if you wanted Sunday dinner, or if it was Christmas time, or whatever problem you had, it was like Big Mama. You know what I'm saying? Like how we see those movies. Like grandma was there. And I know for a fact that I wouldn't be the person that I am today if it wasn't for her consistency and the fact that she took me in and raised me like I was her own. And I'm very appreciative of that. Getting older now, and you start looking at things in context. And I know that I would be a completely different person if she would have never, been in my life. So I thank you for that, and I hope that I'm continue to make you proud. And I want y'all to tell a little about where can the beautiful people that's watching get to find you and get to hear more from you.
So on all social media, I am Alicia Small, _ at the end. And if you want to order motivational t-shirts, you can go to www.keysclosets, KEYZ, closet with a K, KLOSET.com.
Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Ashara, what about you? Where can they find you at?
On Instagram, Talk That Talk Cast.
Okay.
We have a website that's Talk That Talk. I always forget it.
Cast.com.
I always forget it. Cast.com. And on Facebook, it's the same thing. Talk That Talk Cast.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah, so aside from the Talk That Talk page, you can also catch me on my Instagram business page, which is B_Christiane, CHRISTIANNE. If you're ever interested in a free life coaching session, business support session, hit me up. I'm available. It depends on my schedule. My schedule's getting a little busy and all that.
I ain't mad.
But
you
still,
sure is.
But still,
I can't even
they
get
gotta
time.
make sure they put that schedule in and schedule an appointment with you.
Yeah, even if it's 30 minutes, 15 minutes, we can have a chat and let's talk about it. Let's see what you need.
Well, you can find me. Thank you for sharing, Chris. You can find me at Koolforlife _Inc. or you could go to Koolforlife.com. My goal when I started my company was to create a platform like this where men and women could come together and we could come together through unconditional love, respect, and unity. And that's exactly what's happening. I want to say shout out to all my queens out there. Shout out to all my young queens, my young princesses. Know that you're beautiful. Know that you could do anything you put your mind to as long as you believe so. But also remember that you define your beauty, nobody else. That nobody else should define how you look or what you should look like. It's all about you. As long as you know you're beautiful, that's what should be understood in society or whoever you come across. I know that we live in a complicated society right now, so women of color could feel, that they are not acknowledged or that they're not respected enough. But I want to say that I value y'all, and I think y'all queens. That's why the name of this episode was Black Girls Rock, because y'all completely rock. I know that y'all divine. I know that we would not be where we are in this world or in our lives individually if it wasn't for strong Black women or women of color. So I want to thank y'all, and I want to thank every individual that came out tonight and on this busy Friday, because they gotta like you to come give you your time on a Friday. I ain't gonna lie to you, because it's Friday. So I appreciate y'all, and y'all have a beautiful night. Y'all stay safe out there. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, and we'll talk soon.
Good night.
Good night.